Yeah. Just to go print? Okay, thank you.
I looked at it a while ago and I thought, oh, always like that name. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm fine.
He was trying to involve Legion, but they got that motion.
They told me I'm so considerate. Yes, that's right, trash can. Yes. I know, exactly. Okay, I'm gonna live, by the way. Okay, last week, it took like 2 minutes for it to come live. Not today, we're live right now.
They had some good ideas.
Yeah, well, they said they did the remodeling and stuff, and they didn't get it set up. It's just an hour behind.
I went up to law, I didn't see my name.
You get paid extra, you know, I got all these bills.
Give her math, because I don't want to coronavirus.
I know.
I don't seem to get any more money.
I'm not too sure.
I don't know.
Martha would feed you in the back.
Yeah.
As long as the money's there.
Yeah, you self-quarantine yourself.
Email or vote.
She keeps saying she doesn't want nurses.
Quarantine yourself in the back.
If I get nominated.
One of those students, yeah, Christian, they were out.
I'll be here for 2 weeks.
Excellent.
I bet they did.
I don't think so. That was
No, we didn't. But they offered about
About 12 pounds.
and I can't see tonight. My contacts are really
My sugars. I don't have sugar, but I test my sugar. It's like
I have a lot for
70.
They said mom was telling me about something. 16 hours you have. I tried it.
I tried all 24 like that. Ted, would you make sure we did go for warm-ups before all this legislation? She just was asking if we made sure we did go for warm-ups. There's a lot of reading and days and days to do tonight. She's like, yeah, just make sure.
About there, Mr. Chairman.
10 seconds.
Don't put your date.
I don't plan on it. Oh, great.
Good evening, folks. Don't, just disregard the clock. It is 7:30 and not 6:30. It's time to call the regular meeting of Washington Courthouse City Council to order. We will start out with the invocation by Mr. Johnson, and the pledge will be led by Mr. Blair.
Please stand and bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for all of us here in this room. I pray you give us guidance and wisdom. Help us to make good choices so that this city may continue to improve and prosper. I pray, God, for our continued health so that we may best continue to do good according to your perfect plan. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Roll call, please.
Lynch,
Here.
Schultz,
Here.
Blair,
Here.
Hawk,
Here.
Hernandez,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Christmas.
Here. Next item is approval of minutes of regular council meeting held at February 26th, 2020. Any comments, questions, changes, corrections?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from February 26, 2020.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Lynch,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Hawk,
Here.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes. Moving into the business session, number one is a public hearing on the joint economic agreement with Jefferson Township. Is anyone in the audience wish to speak to this? Okay, we'll now close the public hearing. Any communication to Mr. Denon?
None.
Thank you. Reports of council committees, I think we only have one tonight. Mr. Hawk, I think you're up.
The Service, Safety, and Recreation Committee met in the lower level conference room located at 105 North Main Street on Monday, March 2nd, 2020 at 4 p.m. Ted Hawk presided, and those in attendance were Mr. Jim Chrisman, Council Chairperson, Mr. Jim Blair, Council Member, Mr. Dale Lynch, Council Member, Mr. Steve Schultz, Council Member, Mr. Ron Sockman, Service Director, Mr. Brian Hottinger, Police Chief, Mr. Tim Downing, Fire Chief, Mr. Joe Denon, City Manager, and Mr. Mark Pitstick, City Attorney. Number one, the committee benefited from a general report of the Washington Police Department and Washington Fire Department. Chief Hottinger addressed the committee and noted that the police department had started using the Zurcher, is that
Zerker.
I think.
Zerker software. Lastly, Chief Hottinger noted that a new patrolman would begin work on Friday, March 6th. Number two, Chief Downing advised the committee of the need to replace 2 treadmills. Number three, the committee benefited from a review of service department projects. The committee noted that salt was in good supply and that excess salt would be held at the old city garage. The committee noted that the salt is ordered in cooperation with the Ohio Department of Transportation. Number four, the committee noted the progress of the Temple Street Bridge project. Number five, the committee recommended that legislation be brought to council recommending the bid of Jason Beekman of Beekman Farms for rent of 1675 Old Chillicothe Road that contains 49.27 tillable acres at $160 per acre. Number six, the committee recommended legislation be brought to council to enter into an agreement with Ohio Cat for a high-flow Ohio Caterpillar skid steer not to exceed $54,997.72. Number seven, the committee recommended that legislation be brought to council to enter into an agreement with Ohio Caterpillar for a 420 backhoe loader not to exceed $98,126. Number eight, the committee recommended that legislation be brought to council to enter into an agreement with Vermeer for the purchase of a vacuum excavator for the Water Distribution Department. Number nine, the committee recommended that legislation be brought to council to enter into an agreement with EMHT Engineers for Stormwater System GIS development. Number 10, the committee benefited from a report of personnel issues by City Manager Joe Denon. Number 11, the committee noted that 2 positions had been filled at the wastewater treatment plant. Number 12, the committee noted that Arbor Day would be held on April 24th, 2020, near the Judy Chapel at the Washington Cemetery. Number 13, the committee recommended proceeding with a public meeting to be held on March 19 at the Medical Arts Building to discuss the future of healthcare. Number 14, the committee noted that the projected opening date of the splash pad would be approximately Memorial Day, May 25, 2020, dependent upon the weather. Number 15, the committee recommended that the administration proceed with the functional and aesthetic improvement of the front pond in Washington Park, specifically the improvement of fishing access and the margins of the pond. Number 16, the committee noted an inquiry for the use of the softball fields for the Washington Youth Girls Softball League between the month of March through August of 2020. The committee recommended permission be granted. Respectfully submitted, Ted Hawk, Chairperson, Service, Safety, and Recreation Committee. Mrs. Kelly Ford, Recording Secretary.
Thank you. Any questions, comments for Mr. Hall on his report?
Can I make a comment on my
Sure.
report? There was some disagreement on number 13. And since then, I really feel that, maybe we shouldn't have that meeting. For the reason that I feel that way is that by meeting with a certain entity that's thinking about taking over the hospital, by just meeting with one certain one, it would almost seem like we're affirming that particular one, so I disagree on that one point.
Who's the one with Adina?
Yes.
Well, I don't think Kettering, they haven't agreed to a meeting yet.
If you remember, Kettering indicated that if council wished, that they were willing to meet, but they expressed some skepticism about what the point of that was.
Oh, gotcha.
So that is how you've arrived at the situation you're in now.
And also, there's others other than Kettering and Adina that could be approached. I mean, there's several health entities that could be approached to do that, and I think just picking, it's almost like it's a done deal with Adina, and I'm not sure that I want to be a part of affirming that. And that's all I have.
I personally don't mind meeting with anyone. I mean, I kinda like to hear what people say.
That's how I feel. I think we should meet with them just so we can hear what they say, so we can at least have part of the story. And then later on, if somebody else wants to have a meeting, then we'll have a meeting with them. We can't have a meeting with both of them at the same time anyway. So you'd have to have one meeting and then a different meeting, I would think.
Well, I would be okay with that as long as we had that purpose in mind, that we would meet with anybody else that, and that the
Yeah.
hospital board would be willing to present the
Yeah.
books and so on for different ones to review.
Yeah.
Mr. Chrisman, if I may, the conclusion that I recall that committee reached was to proceed with the Adina meeting and then reevaluate the issue after that had concluded.
Yes, I think,
It would seem to me, just because we have a meeting and Adina is there, I'm not putting my stamp of approval on it just based on that. It would seem if we did nothing at all, it would be giving approval, as opposed to wanting to listen to what they had to say. Just different opinion, I guess.
And as was brought up, we really have no say in this matter anyway.
there you go.
So just listening, it would simply give us information, so if people ask us questions about it, we have a better situation in terms of answering. We have no say in this matter.
Yeah,
The commissioners and the hospital board, it's not us.
Yeah, it's entirely up to the hospital board, not us. We are just listening, just so we'll be informed of what's going on. But the decision, final decision comes back to the hospital board, yes.
That's true, but we can have some interest in it because it's interest for the whole county.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Any other questions for Mr. Hall, comments?
I'll make a motion to accept, Mr.
Second.
Chairman.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Lynch,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Hawk,
No.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes. Reports of city officials. Mr. Denon, city manager.
Thank you. I'd like to express thanks for the good weather. We're putting mowing equipment in order, which means that spring is not far away at all. Salt storage, we talked about that a little bit in the committee report. The salt barn is full. If you go past the old service garage, you'll notice that there's now a little mountain of salt. And that has been tarped to keep it dry. We order salt cooperatively with ODOT because it's much more financially advantageous for us to do it in cooperation with ODOT, but that does mean that each year we have to select a minimum order amount. And thankfully, the winter has not been very harsh, so we have not used that much, so that we have a little bit of extra. And that has occurred before, and as long as we can keep it tarped and relatively dry, we're in very good shape there. The paving bid advertisement should be in tomorrow's newspaper. The police department is improving with the use of the new software program. The police department's new patrol officer is Jason Kopis, and we welcome him to the City of Washington Courthouse and wish him well. Per the discussion at the last meeting of council, the police department has been paying greater attention to speed issues on Dayton Avenue. We've been doing more traffic enforcement out there. The fire department has been evaluating locations for a training tower potentially for 2021 or 2022. They also had a structure fire that they did an exceptionally nice job with, and incredibly pleased with the fire department. The shelter house construction near the splash pad will begin soon. That will give people a way to get out of the sun, so if they want to watch kids play on the splash pad, but they don't want to be out there baking themselves. The splash pad, again, as committee day, we talked, as in committee day, we talked about, I got Labor Day down there, Memorial Day. Has weather and events allow, we might need to adjust the opening date for that. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Mr. City Manager, all you young people out here, notice those pretty lights out downtown on the trees? That's pretty. Question, I've had several people comment to me about moving from the top branches to the trunk. Could you kind of expound a little bit
Sure.
on why what's going on there?
The lights on the tree started out as a holiday decoration, but everybody liked them so much several years ago, we switched to the lights in the canopy of the tree being up from time change to time change, basically. And then we added, when we took down the lights in the canopy, the lights around the trunk on the trees on Court Street, so that you continue to have a little bit of light and color along there. We take those lights down, those locust trees branch very heavily, and we've discussed before if you could leave them up all year long, but we're rather worried that if you do that, as heavily as those trees branch, that your ability to get those strands of lights out there in relatively short order would be really difficult. The other thing that we do a little bit of maintenance each year while the lights are down on those trees. We remove dead wood. We do a little bit of pruning. Now we try to, in the past couple of years, we've tried to curb the amount of pruning that we do on those trees. The service department likes to try to reduce their size to make putting the lights up a little bit more feasible, and the tree committee observes that we can be very enthusiastic when we do that. So to arrive at peace there, we concluded that the only pruning that we're going to do with those trees, we'll use manual tools and no power tools, which greatly reduces the amount of wood that people feel the need to whittle on them. But that's why we do that, because as much as the branch, and some of them in a decent year, they'll put on quite a bit of growth, that we really are worried that you'll get those lights up there, and the only way to get them out will be to cut them down.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Tonight we have Lee Cannon with us from Fayette County Public Health. The nurses and staff of Fayette County Public Health are here for you. They are public health professionals, and the only thing they care about is the health of our community. No grandstanding motivation or glory seeking exists. The question is public health. We need to cooperate with and follow the directives of Fayette County Public Health. Do not ignore the information provided to you by Fayette County Public Health. The City of Washington Courthouse is committed to be disciplined in coordinating communications concerning coronavirus with Fayette County Public Health. All of us are in this boat together, and we will row it together. I need every member of our community for the next several weeks and perhaps longer to listen to Lee in Fayette County Public Health. You must act upon what Lee in Fayette County Public Health asks of you. Thank you, gentlemen. Lee?
Well, thank you everyone for having me here tonight. I hope that I can maybe clear up some questions that you might have and kind of let you know a little bit about what Fayette County is actually doing for the coronavirus, which is formerly known as COVID-19. So currently in Fayette County, first of all, I'll back up. I've been with public health now for 15 years, and I started out as the emergency preparedness coordinator. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't like that this is happening, but this is the stuff that I've been planning for and training for my entire public health career. So public health is prepared for this. We have been receiving grant funding since 9/11 happened to plan for mass events such as pandemics. And I did find out earlier today that the World Health Organization has actually declared this a pandemic. What that means is we should be able to get a lot more funding to increase, ramp up, trying to develop a vaccine, ramp up, trying to develop treatment, and allow local health departments like ours, which is a little bit smaller and doesn't get as much funding as larger health departments, be able to put our resources towards this. So that's my little spiel. And I'm glad that you're all on my boat and nobody's jumping out of the boat. We're all staying in the boat. Maybe not all together, like we'll have separate boats, but we'll tie them up or something. So right now, I can tell you that there are 0 cases of the coronavirus in Fayette County. There are 4 now confirmed cases in Ohio. They announced a 4th one today. That is a 53-year-old male out of Stark County who is hospitalized. So each day, as we kind of have anticipated that these numbers are going to continue to rise, we're going to see cases. We knew this was going to happen. And the 4th guy today is actually on my little, you'll see a press release that's going to come out. If you follow my health department page, then you've already seen it. But the number 5 spot there about community transmission. So now they're saying because this guy doesn't have a travel history and we're not sure if he has a known connection to a case, it's being considered community transmission, which is what we've been preparing for, and we knew that might happen. There are people in Ohio that are being tested for COVID-19. What we call these people when they are being tested are persons under investigation. So if you hear the medical community saying things like PUI, that's what they mean. It's a person that's under investigation. And I talk in acronyms, so if I say something you don't understand, raise your hand and let me know. It won't offend me. So those people are people that we actually went through this deep algorithm and figured out, okay, we need to test you. You qualify for testing. Not everybody qualifies for testing. That's been a little misconstrued in the media. The test kits are very small. They don't test very large groups of people. Right now, I think the ODH, Ohio Department of Health one, we can only test maybe 600, 800 people with their new guidelines where we can do 2 samples in one thing. So before, they had to have a nasal and oral, had to be 2 separate tests. Now they're telling us we can put those in one vial and only count it as one. So that will help. But that's still not very many people when you think about how many people are actually in Ohio. So those folks get quarantined, and they get isolated and quarantined, and they're under the direct supervision of the public health department. So then you might also see that there's people that have no symptoms at all, but they've traveled to one of the banned countries or the highlighted countries. So when they come back from that country, then they become a person who we just the public health supervision. So they're under the public health supervision, but we're not really quarantining them per se. We're telling them, hey, can you guys self-quarantine? This is what self-quarantine means. It means don't go places that you don't need to go to, and that they report daily to us what those symptoms may be. And by us, I mean the local public health department. So I had in here that there was no sustained community transmission. That's still true as of today. It may not be tomorrow. So we do have a community transmission, but right now it's contained. We'll see what happens. There is a awesome website, because I don't make this information up. It's coronavirus.ohio.gov, and that's directed under the Ohio Department of Health. Every day at 2 p.m. they update that website with our case numbers. It updates case numbers and it updates persons under investigation. The persons under health surveillance or supervision are only updated weekly. and that's probably going to go away in the near future. So our recommendations are follow those things, and then also pay attention to travel bans. You know, we are recommending people don't go on cruises right now. Can't make you, but it's recommended. It's recommended. Obviously, they're not going to let you travel to China, but we're also recommending no travel to Iran, South Korea, and I believe Italy just shut down today. So I don't think anybody's going to be going to Italy anytime soon. And then we also suggest you really consider travel plans if you're planning to go to Japan. So all of the travel recommendations come straight from the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC. So if you have questions about where you might be traveling, they do try to update that regularly. So the newest thing is the social gatherings, and I'm sure that's what most of your questions are about. It was the question of the day: should I cancel this event? Should I not have this dinner? Should we not do this? And this morning, my answer was, well, you know, we don't really have community transmission right now. We don't know what's going on, so let's just go ahead and business as usual. Just maybe put out a little messaging that says if you're one of these high-risk groups, we recommend, or the health, you can even blame me, say the health department recommends that you don't attend. Well, this afternoon, the governor had a press conference, as he usually does, around 2 p.m., and he stumped my little dream there of having that be what's going to happen. So he basically said, if it's not necessary, don't do it. So we believe in our governor, and him and Amy Acton, the director of Ohio Department of Health, have been fabulous during this whole ordeal. So we are going to stand by him and tell people, we're not ordering you to do anything, but we're recommending that if it's not necessary, if it's not absolutely necessary, then cancel large events. And I'm sure you've seen on the news about all of the high school stuff, and now the NCAA is not allowing spectators. So you're going to see more and more of that. And on the call today, he did state that an order is probably going to go down, which will actually make my life easier, because if he tells me we can't do it, then you won't all be mad at me when you can't have your yummy dinners. But we'll see how it goes. It's like a day-by-day thing. But what was really a takeaway for me today was what kind of risk does it present? If you're going to go somewhere, if you have a concert you've been wanting to go to your whole entire life, and now we're telling you we recommend you don't do that. What's the risk to you? Well, how important is it? Is it life or death? If it's not, don't do it. Right now, school is a necessity. We're getting a lot of pushback on school closure. School is a necessity right now. Until all of those ducks get in a row up at the state level, school is going to remain open. Locally, we probably won't be making those decisions. Those decisions will come from Ohio Department of Health, Ohio Department of Education as a collective team. So that's one good thing. We don't have to kind of reinvent all of these things as each county normally has to face those decisions. So the other question of the day was, why are we trying to slow this down? So in public health, when you have an infectious disease such as COVID-19, this is a disease that we have never seen before. So our bodies have never been exposed to it. We don't know how people are going to react. In China, people reacted a certain way. We don't know if Americans are going to react that way. We have different physiology. We have different mortality rates. We have different diseases that affect us. So we don't know. That's the bottom line into why all of this hoopla is happening right now and why all of these precautions are taking place. We just absolutely don't know. So if we slow down the spread and we contain the virus, then that allows for healthcare to prepare, ramp up, and not be overwhelmed. So if we just open the floodgates and let all of this virus come in, make us all sick, and you go to the hospital, there's not going to be room for you. There may not be the treatment that you need. There may not be ventilators that you need to keep you alive. Somebody else that maybe has cancer and needs surgery won't be able to get that surgery. That's why we're trying to keep the cases underneath this line so that we don't overwhelm our healthcare system. And I think that's pretty much all I kind of wanted to tell you tonight, just to clear up. Those are the two newest things that have been coming out. Do you have questions for me? And I swear I'm not sick. I'm so tired that I'm losing my voice, so I apologize. I don't have COVID-19, I don't think. I'll be the one to get it, right? Yes, ma'am. Oh, okay.
Lee, I think right now, the schools, is there any big a lot of kids out right now or anything like that going on?
So part of public health is we do surveillance for absenteeism. And so since the flu struck and the strep throat, we have been monitoring absenteeism since about November. So it's kind of hit and miss. We kind of take a spike. It's mostly flu. Our elementary schools are spiking right now again. Each week it's different. The high schools have kind of calmed down, but we do watch that because, as you've probably seen in the news, both districts were closed for a temporary time to clean, and that was a collaborative decision based on basically when you get to like 20% of absenteeism, that becomes an issue. So do you look at it as a district? Do you look at it as a school? So we kind of looked at it as a school, like Cherry Hill, Bel Air, Miami Trace Elementary, and kind of thought, well, hey, you know, this is its own building. All these kids are out. We were losing faculty, like dropping like flies too. So if you don't have people to teach these kids, unfortunately or fortunately, that wasn't a really effective method, closing schools for that short period of time. Both districts closed at different times. And then before I could even realize that everybody was at the Y. So we learned a lot from that though. When Trace closed, I called up the Y and said, will you do me a favor and cancel youth sports for the weekend? Because they're all going to come to the Y and this defeats the purpose. We might as well go to school. But we are still seeing a lot of flu activity. So just because this is going on doesn't mean the flu's gone away. It actually has not.
But it's not at the 20% range.
It varies. Like Cherry Hill was still really high last week. So it just varies week by week. It is better overall, but now strep throat's ramping back up again. So keep in mind too that this is all kind of a guess because influenza is only reportable to the health department if they're hospitalized, but we have such a great rapport with our community physicians and hospital that they're being nice and they're sending us any positives that they get, so we can kind of keep track of it. And then we have an epidemiologist that monitors every week our school absenteeism. Our nurses can look at it too, and she sends us this nice report that tells us exactly where the numbers are, where Fayette County aligns with the state, and then we kind of make judgment calls based on those things.
Do any other council members have questions
Yes,
for Ms.
I have.
Cannon?
Yes, sir.
I saw the memo also from the governor this afternoon. Excuse me. The question I have is the word large. They didn't define what they consider large, 100,
Right.
500. What is your feel about that?
I'm hoping that he sends some guidance out on that. Like, I was kind of thinking anything under 200 people, but it also depends on what's the purpose of the event, where the location is going to be. Like, if you have a lot of space to, move around and get away from each other, it may not be so bad. But if, like, say for example, if you're in like a concert and you're at floor seats and you're just, the more people you have scrunched together, the higher your risk is of contracting any kind of virus anyway. So for me, this morning, like I said, I was all in favor of continuing business as is until we get community spread or even a case in Fayette County. But after, all that we know for a fact that the more people that congregate together, the easier things spread. So with that new guidance coming out this afternoon, I'm kind of recommending, if it's anything in a large group, I'm like, this obviously is manageable, but it may come to the point where we're not allowing, the public to be at these meetings, that you have to Skype them or something. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up right now, but hopefully he puts out some guidance and gives us a number to follow. I'm expecting that to happen.
Because most of the church gatherings in the community
Right. So another thing, like, this never stops. So we have been sending guidance out to our local faith-based organizations, and those recommendations are maybe having online sermons. Maybe I'm a real big person on, like, how else can we do communion? Let's not touch everybody's cracker. Let's not do intinction. Let's not drink from the same cup. Let's be creative. How else can we do this besides not doing it? We're just working with them, and they've all been really supportive of things. So we probably will see a lot of that. I've asked, like, my pastor, like, let's not shake hands this weekend. Let's not hug. Let's just get through the weekend and see how it goes, kind of thing. So there are guidances for just about anybody, although Mr. Tackage brought up tonight that what are pharmacies going to do, so I'm going to work on that when I get back. But each day guidance is coming out for all of these different things, and I highly recommend, if you are concerned about any of that stuff, the CDC has something just about for anything you can think of, and that's exactly where we're getting our information from.
Okay, thank you.
Just one more question. If we do not have a problem here in the city or in the county schools, but it's mandated by the state of Ohio, our schools will have to also close.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any particular I guess, challenges unique to a rural community like this as opposed to maybe a city area is, of course, more dense than us. At the same time, we have an older population who are particularly vulnerable.
Resource-wise for this situation, because we are a higher population for older folks, and they are the high-risk group, and then anybody either older or younger with a chronic condition, we all know that our hospital is smaller and our resources are already like this big. So the issue for us is, we in the big city hospitals will even tell you, are we even prepared with resources for this type of thing? No. So Fayette County definitely is not, if the larger, higher level hospitals are not. So that's one of our huge concerns, and why, while we're listening to Dr. Acton at ODH and the governor about how serious this is, to make sure that we don't overwhelm our health care. Otherwise, Fayette County, this is going to be something that we have to do on our own. Like I always say, when there's a pandemic, the cavalry isn't going to show up. So if we have something like, heaven forbid, say a tornado or something like that that just hit Fayette County, well, you're going to have every Ohio resource that you need to come in and help you with that. So that's just something that, this is why, like, for me, I can't fix this for the community, but the public needs to do their part of their respiratory etiquette, all of their things that they can do so that we don't spread this to each other, because we are going to be on our own when the response happens.
Yeah, thank you.
And I know I ramble a lot, I'm sorry. There's so much information.
Lee, I saw a statistic that not even 50% of Americans get a flu shot.
Yep, that's sad.
So I just had some fun, which I probably can't even do, but I did it anyway. I have 30-some students at the high school.
Yep.
And I just asked them, I said, how many of you have flu shots? Now, of course, they're in the age range, where they're not at real great risk, except for spreading it possibly. But I asked them how many had flu shots, and there weren't 10.
Yeah.
So I wonder, even if they develop a vaccine for it, would people actually get the shot?
Well, that's been kind of like a concern, because that we do, working in public health, we do have a lot of vaccine resistance. It's something that we deal with on a daily basis. Normally, I was trying to think back, because H1N1 was the first pandemic I actually really got to work on. And surprisingly, a lot of people that didn't get the vaccine years prior came to get the H1N1 vaccine and then the seasonal flu as well. So sometimes it takes something scary to kind of convince people that it's okay to take. It's a lot of education. It's a lot of, getting information out about safety and trying to figure out what all those vaccine concerns are, why people aren't getting it, and try to just reverse that. But that is a true statement.
Anything else from up here?
Thanks, Lee.
All right, thank you for
very
your
much.
time.
Great job.
Appreciate it.
One logistical issue that I forgot to mention. The agreement with Jefferson Township that's on third reading, it needs to stay on third reading because the timeline in the revised code doesn't match your meeting schedule. So it needs to stay where it is, and then at the next meeting you'd have third reading. And you also have another public hearing at that meeting also. We have with us tonight a number of students from Bel Air that are here to make a presentation to council, and I can't fail to express how wonderful it is to have a group of young people with us here tonight.
So I'm gonna say you guys are all gonna stand, and let's come out. Maybe we could, is it okay if we go in front of the microphone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, just line up in your line. You can rearrange your positions however you want.
They're from Washington Courthouse. In the fourth grade. We recently had our first Lego competition in spring rotating in November. We got our name from our Blue Lion mascot. We also work on a long-term problem. We are a rookie Lego team. Our name is the Lego Lions. Our coach is Miss Picklesigner. At another school, we had a project as part of our Lego Week, where we had to find a problem in our community and design a solution. We have come here tonight to share the results of our project and our concerns.
Students took a school-wide survey
to determine our greatest problems in our community. Trash at Iman Park was identified as one of the top problems. Our solution was to create a competition between the Blue Lions of Courthouse and the Panthers of Miami Trace. This will encourage children and families to throw their trash where it belongs, in the trash can. We also thought that we could add more trash cans and paint cans blue or black. The school district with the most trash in their blue or black cans, each one would be declared the winners. They could be recognized by Mr. Jordan and our city manager. When Walt Disney was building his park, he went to other parks and counted how long it would take before a person would drop their trash on the ground. He came up with 30 steps. With that information, we figured out that we needed more trash cans at Iman Park. Our class had an expert named Brigitte Haji from Sword Water Speech was about microtrash. We did some very interesting information and our understanding of these small pieces of trash being a problem grew. When Brigitte Haji from Fayetteville Water came to our school, she found 37 pieces of microtrash in 10 minutes. She also showed us an app called Literati that allows you to keep a record of trash found and where it was located. Microtrash is a problem that many people do not think about. People don't walk back and forth from splash pad to Iman Park. It could get dangerous. Everyone knows that people bring snacks to the pool, or in this case, the splash pad. Parents can't leave their kids to go across the street and throw away trash. We need more trash cans at Iman Park and the new splash pad. Brigitte showed us this picture of a bird that had a lot of microtrash in its stomach. Microtrash is like its name, small pieces of trash that you don't notice unless you look for it. Microtrash affects our wildlife. Some examples of microtrash are cigarette butts, wrappers, broken bits, and pieces of plastic. We need more trash cans to help encourage people to throw their trash away in the can instead of on the ground. We have come here tonight to ask City Council to purchase more trash cans to help eliminate trash at Iman Park and the splash pad, which will be opening in the spring. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
You guys are
How many
absolutely
times did you
adorable.
practice that?
Twice.
Twice?
You guys are adorable. I'll tell you, that's fantastic.
job.
You got, that's a good way of looking at things. You give this a lot of thought, didn't you? Yes. It sounds like a very good presentation. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm sure we could talk to this gentleman right over here. We could probably get a trash can or two put over there. I'm sure they're working on that right now. What do you think, Joe?
Oh, I think that we can definitely purchase trash cans.
Yes.
I think we need more blue ones than black ones, though.
Good job, Joe.
Great job, you guys. I got to meet these young people a couple times, and I was really impressed with what they did. And I think I recommended to Mrs. Ginn that they come and present, but you did better than I ever imagined. What a great job. Good job. I
Give it
think-
a lot of thought. I'm telling you, that is fantastic.
And I'm looking forward to reading all these. This is neat. Thank you.
Suggestion, the students might be leaving after their presentation is done, so would you want to do a picture now?
Sure. They can
If you
stand
guys
right.
want to stand and face this way. Yeah. And then council go right behind you.
Stand up.
Yep.
Now,
You want to put stagger how?
let me scoot over here. You need up here.
We see all faces and I
You
think,
get all of us?
can you guys get everybody?
You want me to stand in the back?
I think that's good.
According to Lee, we're not supposed to get too close together.
Oh, yeah. Don't breathe on anybody.
Oh, you want me to move it? Okay.
Joe should.
Okay.
Yeah, get in there.
Got everybody?
See everybody? Look at those guys.
Thank you.
Do you want their names from, before they move, do you want need their names for the paper or you could write them down?
email
Yeah.
photos.
Sure, that'd be great.
I think,
Yay.
I knew a couple of those,
Good job.
I know a couple of those fifth graders in the second row, I think they failed a few times.
You know, my grandson, what he wanted for his birthday was one of those things you pick up trash with. He goes around, picks up trash all over the yard. He's only 70 years old.
Mr. Chrisman, is there any additional questions for Lee from anybody?
Thank you, Lee.
You did a fantastic job too. You did a great job.
Go
I
rest.
didn't have to follow them.
Do you want a picture too?
Go rest, Lee. Go get some rest, Lee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good one. You want the picture also.
Thank you so much, thank you all.
Thanks, Ann.
Thank you.
Do you want to walk around?
Hey, Lee,
Go ahead, real quick.
I did get a message today from Southern State that they're on, Southern State is on spring break this week.
Oh, okay.
They're not going to have classes on campus next week.
Okay.
But my CCP classes at the high school, they're
Do
having.
you still
so-
have? Okay.
So they're kind of following a lot of the colleges, I think.
Okay.
Where'd everybody go?
Does that conclude your report?
Some of those kids have.
They left all the boring
I hope
stuff
so.
for us. And there's pages of stuff.
Okay.
Challenge there, Mr. Lynch.
Director of Finance, I don't think he's in the house, is he? I haven't seen him. Mr. Fitstick,
I have no report, Mr. Chairman.
thank you. I have no local residents and taxpayers signed up. Moving into legislation, previously introduced, item A is the ordinance that we're going to hold for a while. Probably, I guess, next meeting. Item B, resolution number R3, 2020, second reading.
I'll make a motion that we put R3 2020 on second reading.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lynch,
Yes,
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Christman.
Yes.
I'll move that we adopt resolution number R3
No,
2020.
sorry, I need
Before you
it. Sorry.
Oh.
She has to
I
read
just
it
wasn't
first.
sure, we don't have to do anything for ordinance two to put it on hold, make,
Or do you?
before we go further?
There's no requirement that council make a motion,
Okay, I'm
so
sorry.
it can just stay there.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just
No,
want to
you're
make
fine.
sure. Resolution number R3 2020, a resolution confirming Joseph J. Denon, City Manager of the City of Washington Courthouse, reappointment of Mr. Ron Sockman to the Board of Tax Review for a term concluding on December 31st, 2021.
Now I'll move for
Yeah.
to adopt resolution number R3 2020.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Lynch.
yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Christman.
Yes. Item C, resolution number R4, 2020, second reading.
I move we place resolution number R4, 2020 on second reading.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Christman.
Yes.
Resolution number R4-2020, a resolution confirming Joseph J. Denon, City Manager of the City of Washington Courthouse, reappointment of Mrs. Nancy Hammond to the Board of Tax Review for a term concluding on December 31st, 2021.
Move for adoption?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Christman.
Yes. Item D, resolution number R5, 2020, second reading.
I'll move that we place resolution number R5, 2020, second reading.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this one? Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Christman.
Yes.
Resolution number R5-2020, a resolution confirming Joseph J. Denon, City Manager of the City of Washington Courthouse,
Appointment of Miss Megan Doomy to the Fayette County Travel and Tourism Board for a term concluding December 31st, 2022.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yep.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes. Resolution number R6, 2020, second reading.
I move that we place resolution number R6, 2020 on second reading.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Resolution number R6-2020, a resolution confirming Joseph J. Denon, City Manager of the City of Washington Courthouse, reappointment of Mrs. Susan Wolsheim to the Civil Service Commission for the term concluding December 31st, 2022.
Move for adoption?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes. Item F, resolution number R7, 2020, second reading.
I move that we place resolution number R7 2020 on second reading.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
No.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Resolution number R7-2020, a resolution authorizing Joseph J. Denon, City Manager of the City of Washington Courthouse, to enter into an agreement for professional services with JRG Consulting, LLC, doing business as Enterprise Advisory Group.
Move for adoption?
Second.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
No.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes. Item G, resolution number R8, 2020, second reading.
I move we place resolution number R28, 2020 on second reading.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Resolution number R8-2020, a resolution confirming Joseph J. Denon, City Manager of the City of Washington Courthouse, appointment of Mr. Terry Fike to the Board of Tax Review for a term concluding on December 31st, 2021.
I'll move for adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes. Item H, resolution number R9, 2020, second reading.
I'll move that we put resolution R9 2020 on second reading.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Resolution number R9-2020, a resolution confirming Joseph J. Denon, City Manager of the City of Washington Courthouse, appointment of Mr. Terry Fike to the Tax Incentive Review Committee.
I'll move for adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes. New legislation in writing, ordinance number 3, 2020, first reading.
I move we place ordinance number 3, 2020 on first reading.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Ordinance number 3-2020, an ordinance authorizing Joseph J. Denon, City Manager of the City of Washington Courthouse, or his designee, to abate public nuisance at 1227 Willard Street, authorizing a private contract for payment of the abatement of nuisance, and directing the collecting of the cost of the abatement of nuisance from the owner of the property.
Next item is ordinance number 4, 2020, first reading.
I move that we place ordinance number 4, 2020 on first reading.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion on this one? Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Ordinance number 4-2020, an ordinance authorizing Joseph J. Denon, city manager of the city of Washington courthouse or his designee, to abate public nuisance at 313 Worley Street, authorizing a private contract for the payment of the abatement of nuisance, and directing the collecting of the cost of the abatement of nuisance from the owner of the property.
Item C is ordinance number 5, 2020, first reading, I'm sorry.
Yes. I'll move that we put ordinance number 5, 2020 on first reading.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lynch,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Ordinance number 5-2020, an ordinance authorizing Joseph J. Denon, city manager of the city of Washington courthouse, or his designee, to abate public nuisance at 403 East Elm Street, authorizing a private contract for the payment of the abatement of nuisance, and directing the collecting of the cost of the abatement of nuisance from the owner of the property.
Item D, resolution number R10, 2020, first reading.
I'll move we put resolution R10, 2020 on first reading.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lynch,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Resolution number R10-2020, a resolution authorizing Joseph J. Denon, city manager of the city of Washington courthouse, to enter into contract with Ohio Cat for the purchase of a Caterpillar 420 backhoe.
Item E, resolution number R 2020, first reading.
All
11.
11.
R 11, I'm
I'll move
sorry.
that we place resolution number R11, 2020, first reading.
right. I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Lynch,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Resolution number R11-2020, a resolution authorizing Joseph J. Denon, city manager of the city of Washington courthouse, to enter into a contract with Ohio Cat for the purchase of a Caterpillar 259D3 high-flow loader.
Item F, resolution number R12, 2020, first reading.
I'll move that we place resolution number R12, 2020 on first reading.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Okay. Lynch,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Resolution number R12-2020, a resolution authorizing Joseph J. Denon, city manager of the city of Washington courthouse, to enter into a contract with Vermeer for the purchase of a Vermeer Vactron CV573 SGT vacuum excavator.
Item G, resolution number R13, 2020, first reading.
I move we place resolution number R13, 2020 on first reading.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this one?
Kelly and us, we do get extra for all these votes, don't we? Get extra pay. Kelly gets
Well,
extra.
you'd have to talk to Mr. Riley about that. I asked him today if we
Forget
got a raise, and he said no.
We'll give her an extra cup of water.
Yes,
You gotta read it again. It's your
Well,
turn.
ready for
Roll
roll
call.
call?
Oh, roll call,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, roll call, please.
Lynch,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Hawk,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Chrisman.
Yes.
Resolution number R13-2020, a resolution authorizing Joseph J. Denon, city manager of the city of Washington courthouse, to enter into a contract with EMH&T for the 2020 stormwater system GIS development.
Thank you. Item H, resolution number R14, 2020, first reading.
I'll move that we put resolution R14, 2020 on first reading.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this one?
Could they add the cost per acre on that?
It's
Or-
$160 an acre.
I know, but
Mhm.
could we add that to the official resolution?
It's in the body
It's
of
in the body of the
It's in the body
resolution.
of the legislation.
It's in it back here in the.
Yeah, when she reads it, she reads the title of the legislation, but it's in the body of the resolution, is it not?
It is.
Right there.
It is.
Yeah, I knew that, but I was just, this is the official resolution that you're reading now, correct?
No.
Title.
No,
She's
that's
just
the
reading the
title.
title.
This is the title.
No,
Okay.
the official resolution is the whole thing.
Okay,
Like when we go to look up let's say 20 years from now, you want to look up R14 2020, it's the whole thing that'll be in there.
Okay, very good.
Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Christmas.
Yes.
Resolution number R14, 2020, a resolution authorizing Joseph J. Denon, City Manager of the City of Washington Courthouse, to award a one-year contract to Jason Beekman, Beekman Farms, for the rent of farmland owned by the city located at 1675 Old Chillicothe Road, Washington Courthouse.
Thank you. Kelly, that's a lot of reading. In lieu of a raise or a bonus, you can have a drink of water.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Thank you. I will take that instead
You
of.
can have the first 2 hours off in August. Think about that. First
Yeah.
2 hours off.
Okay. Looks like what miscellaneous is next. Let's start with the lady to my right, Ms. Hernandez.
They're not here anymore, but I want
Yeah.
to thank the little kiddos from Bel Air. Those are all friends of my son. And Mrs. Genn and Mrs. Picklesheimer, they do a great job with the kiddos. Maddox got to participate in one of the Lego leagues last fall, and it's good for them. It's a big challenge, and when you go to the competitions, you would be amazed at what they're challenged to do. I don't think I would have had the confidence or the knowledge to do that at that age. So it pushes them, and I love it. So big thanks to them, because that's a lot of work for both of them, because they do it on the weekends too. So, thanks to Lee, because she enlightened me tonight. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, well, some of you know I'm on an early spring break now because of coronavirus, so there's that. Not all bad, I guess. But yeah, I think Lee did a great job again. You were very right about that, and the kids in the Lego League, they were very impressive. I definitely support the trash cans, Joe. I don't think
Okay.
anyone's going to stand in the way of the trash can.
All right.
I might stand in the way of black trash cans.
Oh yes, yes,
Like-
yes.
See, I didn't say that.
So, yeah.
Sorry, Cal, you're the only one.
It's a trace, so.
Yeah, so I look forward to other improvements to Island Park as well too. I know that we mentioned some of that in Washington Park area, so I think that that'll be great. I like the fish over there. I went walking over there last night, so yeah, I look forward to that. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Schultz.
You know, I want to thank the children that were here too. They sound like they gave it a lot of thought. They come up with a great project, and I think it's a great idea what they're doing. So it kind of keeps that area clean. Now, if we can kind of encourage that more and more. And I don't care if it's blue or black trash cans, as long as they pick the trash up, because I have grandkids at both schools, so, in both systems, so. But, and I wanted to thank Lee. She did a great job. It sounded like the county at least is giving this a lot of thought. We're staying proactive on this whole thing. The same way with the schools, put letters out today of their plans. It went out to all the parents, and it was on an email today. And so they're making plans if it would happen. So hopefully everybody will stay healthy, and we'll get through this thing and get into summer. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Hawk.
Well, I learned a new term tonight. I'd never heard of micro trash, but I think that's a good idea.
That's a good call. I've never heard
Yeah,
of it.
for a detail-oriented person like me, that really sounds like a great thing.
In the military, we call it policing.
I don't like the way that we vote on our reports and the way that we can't distinguish. When we vote on a report, we approve everything on the report. So if there's anything you disagree with on the report, you have to vote no. And I don't like that system, but I wanted to clarify that that's why I voted no, because everything else seemed okay. And I just happen to disagree with item 13, so that's why I did that. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Mr. Lynch.
Well, I've got a quote, Mr. Chairman. Imagine that. I don't know who said it, but I like it. Success is what happens after you have survived all of your disappointments.
It's true.
And I think I have found that in almost everything I've been involved in, from coaching to teaching to every other kind of thing, that success doesn't always come easily, but that it does come if you keep working at it, and if you can not dwell on disappointments but keep moving forward. So I like that quote a lot. And other than that, by the way, that was only a small group. There are a whole lot of other students in those classes that did equally good work. I don't know how they got chosen. I should have asked them, but there was many more students, and they were all very impressive. And they were much more talkative when it was just me in the class. They were going crazy talking, and they got a little quieter, but I was really impressed with what they did. So, and I was impressed with them when I went to their class. So anyway, that's all.
Thank you. Mr. Blair.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to yield my 2 minutes to our esteemed law director. I have come to many, many council meetings and have yet to hear him speak.
Well, I usually don't have a lot to say because most of what I deal with, we don't want to talk about. So that's the reason I don't say a lot. Oh, we got all kinds of things.
Lawyers
Plus,
like
Jim,
talking
he
about
would
their
use
votes.
words about this law, we wouldn't know what he was talking about anyway.
That's it.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
that's
you.
it.
Thanks, everybody, for this evening. Thanks, the Bel Air group. They were very impressive. And thank Lee, good information. I'm sure the news media will carry on.
They look through.
Silence is golden. Okay, I don't really have anything else. How about a move for adjournment, please?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Lynch.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Crispin.
Yes.
Hey, we got out here just about a little after 7:35.
Not too bad.
That's the quickest one yet.
I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one who has to sit on my clock.
Actually, not too bad.
That was better.